No game is perfect. That is the mantra that I like to live by when I'm playing games and thinking of videos for this channel. Every game has flaws somewhere, whether it's in its design or its mechanics or in a thing you personally don't like. And for Tears of the Kingdom, that's exactly what it is for me. The few complaints I have about the game are just minor annoyances. Nothing major, just, something that irks me the wrong way. There's a section that I've played that I don't like. I believe that it's tedious and annoying, but it doesn't take away from the game as a whole. And there's a major mechanic that I think is annoying, but I can live with it. The section I found the most annoying during my first 10 to 20 hours of playing Tears of the Kingdom so far was the first temple I did, and kind of the sandstorm stuff in Gerudo, but let's talk about that first temple. I decided to start with the Rito Village main quest and kind of just meandered my way in that direction after finishing the Garden of Time section. The thing that I've found most annoying was the section before getting into the actual Wind Temple, as you're trying to get above the cyclone. There are these flying ships with trampolines on them, and if you mess up once, it feels like it throws off the whole rhythm of the ship and everything just goes out of sync for a bit. It took me a good probably 10 to 30 minutes to just get through that section. And it did cause me a bit of frustration, but it was mostly just annoyance because it wasn't hard, it was just mistiming stuff. And it just felt kind of tedious. There's also one major mechanic that I find a bit annoying, and that's the Sage Ghost power. It feels dumb to have a full entourage of ghosts following you. And to use their powers, you have to run up to them and talk to them, and doing that in the middle of combat with the Gerudo's lightning power especially just feels kind of annoying. And that it's just going to get more annoying with more ghosts following you, especially if they are close combat focused. I don't hate the way they designed it, but I honestly would rather have it on a bar menu like the weapons and items, or have it where you hold down a button and just hit one of the direction buttons on the D-pad. It's something I would like a bit different, changed a little bit, but I don't hate it. And that's really it for complaints about the game. And those are just minor annoyances. They're things that I can live with. It doesn't take away enough from the game to ruin my overall enjoyment of Tears of the Kingdom, because everything else I've come across in the game is great. The combat feels like Zelda should. I love how there aren't multiple specific arrows for specific purposes, like bomb arrows or fire arrows. And it really leans into the fusing mechanic with being able to attach different items. And you have to go and search around the world to find those different items, or buy them from a shop. And the new powers are interesting. Being able to fuse anything with your weapon or shield or arrows is great for some of the dumb combinations that you can have. Having the freedom to make your own contraptions and build your own way up to an area is really nice. And some of the stuff that you can make is just insane. And being able to move through a platform to get to the top instead of climbing all the way around is super convenient. The story is interesting. I think it's more interesting than Breath of the Wild. And it feels really good. It feels like a really good story. Even though I'm not all the way through it, or I'm not super far into it, it feels really good so far. And the temples feel like a return back to Ocarina of Time, and not kind of gimmicky like Breath of the Wild's Divine Beast and their whole, move the trunk to adjust the water or turn the bird gimmicks or mechanics. The bosses of the temples have an interesting design and don't feel completely out of place in their temple. And the bosses' mechanics are simple and easy to understand, but can get very challenging if you're not careful. Doing the Wind Temple, I ran out of arrows multiple times, I ran out of warm food, and I was taking damage the whole time. So I wasn't prepared and I wasn't careful. I had to teleport out, get some warm clothing and some more food, and then go back in, and also more arrows. And it felt like a challenge, like a boss should. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom takes the groundwork design of Breath of the Wild and improves and changes it into an even more impressive game. The story, dungeon design, changes to combat, and new mechanics makes the game feel fresh and new, but also very familiar. Yes, I have minor annoyances every now and then with the game, but overall, it's just been fantastic. With everything that Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom improves on from Breath of the Wild's formula, and everything that it adds and changes from that formula, it just makes it a great game. As a whole, it's just fantastic, and it's deserving of the 10 out of 10 scores that it's getting, and I think that it deserves to be Game of the Year, especially looking at the lineup for this year. I know people are going to argue Starfield. I honestly don't think that game's going to come out in a very good state. You know, look at like Jedi Survivor. Wonderful game, but its performance was crap. And I think Starfield's going to be the same way. There's going to be a crap ton of bugs, and it's going to be problematic. And people are still going to call it Game of the Year. Maybe it'll be in the category, but I don't think it's going to win it. I think Zelda Tears of the Kingdom should win Game of the Year. And that's all I have to say about Tears of the Kingdom. If you enjoyed this video, break your weapon on that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see more of my videos and opinions, here's my latest video and my 10-hour impressions playlist. And I hope you have a royal day.